It's only been a couple days since I made the video talking about how EDP445's trying to make a comeback online with his Instagram account and live streaming on every obscure video sharing service imaginable. I swear to God, this guy would start streaming on AIM Instant Messenger if he could. I wouldn't be surprised if he hopped on as a full-time Omegle streamer and just tried to haggle people for money to tell them why the Eagles will win the Super Bowl and also send them pictures of his poop in his toilet. He is finding every possible means of broadcasting himself online in order to try and reclaim his former glory pre-cupcake incident. I'll briefly speedrun his lore again. I think most people already know. More people know about the EDP445 story than Hamlet, but just in case, he was busted last year in a Chris Hansen-style operation where he was fully caught trying to have sexual relations with someone he believed to be a child, and he tried to defend himself by saying, no, look, you got it wrong, you stupid assholes. Actually, I was just here for a cupcake, which is how the whole cupcake meme started. But this was just one in many documented cases of EDP having inappropriate conversations with people he believed to be underage. So as a result, he was banned off pretty much every major platform and hadn't been seen for about 8 months. Occasionally there were theories and possible sightings of EDP445 out in the online cyberspace wild, but it was kind of like pictures of the Loch Ness Monster. People didn't really believe it until it was confirmed recently that he was running an Instagram account and trying to live stream again, and then just yesterday, or 2 days ago now, he fully made his return, WWE style, fucking pyrotechnics going off. He's on TikTok, baby, and he is absolutely exploding on the platform. He's got a video with over 4.4 million views. He's gathered over like 150,000 followers in literally just like less than 48 hours. He's been going viral there. I keep seeing the comment of when the world didn't need him most, he came back, and that's super true. But EDP445 is like a natural disaster. For as long as cupcakes exist in this dimension, EDP445 will also exist too. On TikTok, he's getting tons of support from people welcoming him back with open arms and open asses. They couldn't be more excited. They're just wishing him the best and super happy that he finally returned to take his crown back, king. And it's really sad, but also not surprising, because TikTok has established itself as a platform where child abuse isn't even taken seriously. There's been so many creators on TikTok that have literally been outed for some terrible things, including being predators, including, in certain cases, sexual abuse, and they still have very popular platforms that are still thriving, because TikTok and the TikTok community don't take it seriously. And I think that's mainly because most of them are children themselves. So they're completely naive, and they don't take things like what EDP did or tried to do as serious as they should, which is really fucking awful. EDP was outed for some terrible things, and all of them regarding his behavior with people he believed were underage. So now he's gone to a platform that is primarily consisting of underage audience. That is a recipe for disaster. You have taken a man who would be banned from the majority of elementary schools within like a 5-mile radius, and now you're letting him run for class president of that elementary school because it's on TikTok now. Probably not like the best comparison, but what I'm saying is he is now very popular on a platform that is mainly consisting of younger audience. I'm sure you can see why that's a bit of a problem. Now, EDP, mainly the content he's made on TikTok is Super Bowl related because it had the most virality to it, since the Super Bowl is always highly watched and on TikTok highly discussed. So his channel grew a lot then. And he also made a video about me, which I'll show you quickly. I had to mute the audio because of DMCA issues, but you're really not missing much here. Basically, the words here pretty much describe what's going on. He's since deleted this TikTok, and I think the reason is because he's done everything he can to avoid ever mentioning the cupcake incident. He treats it like Voldemort's name. It just never gets said by him. Anytime it's brought up, the person is banned, and just does everything he can to pretend that it doesn't exist, hoping that he can just write out the controversy and people will forget or stop bringing it up. But this is his legacy. This is what he's known for. He is the cupcake guy. And he knows this, which is why he posted a video trying to be self-aware like, cupcakes, no, I understand what's going on. But that doesn't work with that level of self-awareness when what you're calling attention to is the fact that people know that you tried to have sexual relations with a kid. Like, that's the self-awareness isn't like a, oh, haha, he gets it, okay, now we can forgive him. It's not like when Darman became self-aware that a lot of the stuff that happens in his videos is goofy and people usually make jokes about it, and he became self-aware and became in on the joke, and that's like, oh, good for Darman, he has a level of self-awareness, I have more respect for that now. It doesn't work in EDP's case, because when he calls attention to the cupcake thing, he's acknowledging that he knows he is a sexual predator, and that people know that he is a sexual predator. So the self-awareness doesn't help people have more respect for you. You're still disgusting, and what you did is pretty unforgivable, which is why no community's been welcoming him back onto the platforms, except for TikTok, because it is a platform that is notorious for not giving a shit about the safety of the kids on there. And make no mistake, a lot of the user base is kids, but they don't take it seriously there. There's been so many cases of horrible shit happening on TikTok, and the people that were behind it still doing just fine to this day. So I'm not surprised that EDP found TikTok as a place to call home, and he'll probably continue to do well on that platform, which is extremely sad to say. It really is, but it's just the truth of it. There's a good chance that on TikTok, EDP will thrive, and he'll be able to come back to form, and he'll be able to monetize again, and it's the fucking sad reality of it, because TikTok has a track record of not taking things like what EDP did seriously. And you can see it in his comment section. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of people that are writing on EDP's dick right now, like, yep, this is the good stuff. Finally, EDP's back. Thank you, TikTok. EDP, let's go, EDP for life. You can see it. And it'll probably continue. So obviously, a lot of people, myself included, have a big problem with EDP being back in general, but even more specifically on TikTok, since it's the platform that gives him the most access to kids, which are potential victims to EDP. He has shown multiple times, not just with the apocalyptic cupcake incident, but he has shown prior to that that he will talk to children and engage in very inappropriate behavior and conversations with people that he believes to be underage. So now that he's on a platform that's primarily in that demographic, there's obviously a huge conflict here. So yeah, just wanted to give a whole update on this situation. A lot of people brought this to my attention and definitely thought it was something that needed to be talked about. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. Alright, fine. I'll finally address the cupcake in the room. Yes, I know EDP is back on YouTube. It's been about like a week and a half since he rose from the ashes like a phoenix and made a YouTube account again. And since then, people have been emailing me and asking me during streams constantly why I haven't talked about it, why am I not bringing it up. And there's a great reason for that, and it's a pretty simple one. It's because it's not going to last long. This is like my 5th time talking about EDP, so the recap for the last episodes of Dragon Ball Z are going to be really brief this time around. EDP, Eat the Pussy 445, used to be a massive YouTuber, and then he was caught in a Chris Hansen-style sting operation that brought to light messages that he sent to someone he believed to be an underage girl, and then also going out of his way to meet them, which led to the infamous cupcake excuse where he said he wasn't there to meet a child, he was there to get a cupcake. And he also sent pictures of his poop in a toilet bowl to the kid. That part's never as important to the story as the other stuff, but I always like to mention it because I find the shit pics to just be truly innovative. So since that incident, he got banned from YouTube and every other platform that he's applied to, which is pretty much every website on the internet that allows you to sign up with a fucking email address, because he has not only an insatiable appetite for cupcakes, but also internet points. He desperately wants to become a content creator again, so he's tried streaming and posting videos to every obscure platform known to man. I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to launch his own podcast exclusively through Team Fortress 2's voice chat, but no matter how small or unknown the platform is, they always ban him because of his past. But he does always try and come back, like most recently with the YouTube account. He did make a new YouTube account to post videos where he's talking about the Eagles, per usual, and he wasn't banned immediately, so people started panicking. People for some reason thought that YouTube was just gonna let this fly under the radar, which they haven't done any time in the past here, but this time was different. They thought like maybe EDP finally weaseled his way back onto the platform, like there was a handshake between Susan and EDP, like you're forgiven, you're welcome back. Which was obviously never going to be the case. He may not have been banned instantly, but he was going to get banned soon enough. In fact, he is banned currently as of me making this video, and the only evidence I have that he ever even came back is Mudahar's video on it, where he talked about EDP coming back, as well as some other YouTubers, but I think Mudahar had the best video covering the subject. This is the only thing left of his newest channel. It took like a week, I think. A week and some change maybe, I'm not entirely sure, but it wasn't long. So the reason I didn't talk about it is just because there was no chance this was going to be him coming back to the platform in a big way or anything like that. So what's the point in really like addressing it or driving attention to him? It's just a nothing burger. It's not like his channel was really growing or anything. The only people there were the people that actively follow him to make fun of him every time he tries to come back. And they always alert the platform that he's there. So the proper channels were already notified. It was just a matter of time. And I'm confident in the week that it took YouTube to act, he didn't get any new victims to prey upon. This was just another attempt from EDP to try and post somewhere. It's just kind of like an STD on the internet. He's like a case of herpes that'll flare up every now and then with a new account, but then it goes away after a pretty short amount of time. So again, I haven't been talking about it because I didn't think this would be a problem that would last very long. I thought it would be something that takes care of itself, which it was. There's never going to be a future where EDP actually comes back to the internet. It's just not going to happen. Also, I guess this is just as kind of like a little PSA thing. Not every EDP account that pops up is actually him. This happens with pretty much every banned person anywhere. There's going to be a ton of fake accounts that are reposting content as like new things to make people believe that it's that person that came back. It's just a troll account most of the time. It's already happened with a lot of EDP accounts. Apparently this one really was him though, and it seems like it actually was him. But for the most part, a lot of them are just memes, that people just fucking around. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah, it's that time again, that special time of year where EDP tries to make a comeback and find a platform that doesn't immediately ban him for what he's done in his past. It's become an annual tradition now on the internet. EDP's kind of like this reoccurring villain online, kind of like the box ghost from Danny Phantom who shows up in a few episodes here and there and just gets laughed at. That's EDP. Once upon a time, EDP445 was an extremely successful YouTuber with over 2 million subscribers, but then got caught in a pedophile sting operation where he was sexually communicating with someone he believed to be a child, and even went to a physical location to try and meet that child, which led to the infamous piece of internet history where EDP tried to squeak his way out of a sticky situation when he was caught on camera at the physical location that they arranged for him to meet what he believed to be a child. He came up with the genius idea of claiming he was not there to meet a child, but was actually just there for a cupcake. It was an iconic moment that will go down in internet lore, etched into the tablets of time, and that's become his legacy. He was then banned off of YouTube, and every now and then tries to come back to hope that the heat's cooled down enough where he can make yet again a thriving career online. This is like the 5th video I've made about the EDP saga. It's got seasons to it. It's like the longest running series on my channel next to the Moist Meter. It's just wild how often he does these things and the way that he goes about them. But this time it's a little different, and I wasn't even going to make a video talking about it because it's become such a standard normal thing for EDP to try and crawl his way back. It's like that scene in Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull where he locks himself in that refrigerator as the nuclear bomb goes off and then he just gets out and walks away. That's EDP. Like, he comes out, the bomb goes off, where it's like, wait, EDP's back? The guy that did all that pedophile shit? And then he gets banned, he puts himself in the refrigerator, dodging all the nukes, and then comes back another time to try again on another platform. It's been like that for 2 years. He has streamed, he's made content on every platform imaginable. He's probably made a couple videos at your local university's goddamn book club. Like, he is going everywhere to try and make money again online, and it hasn't worked until over the last month on TikTok. Over the last month on TikTok, he made yet another account, and this time he hasn't been banned. In fact, he has over 730,000 followers right now and actively live streams on there to great success. But unfortunately, it seems like this success may have brought out the kitty diddling demon from within EDP once more. He has been accused of grooming a minor. Who could have seen that coming if it's true? You know, shocker. This guy has a history with evidence of him talking sexually to underage fans of his from back in the day, being very inappropriate with them, and then in the most recent one that cost him his whole career, literally saying sexual things about what he'd want to do to someone that he believed was a child. Having these sexually charged conversations, sending a picture of his cock, sending a picture of his poop in a toilet bowl, the actual pioneer of shit pics. Like, who could have possibly imagined that on a platform predominantly used by children, he would then once again potentially communicate with children?
You knew what he looked like, right?
Yeah. I was just really trolling him. Like, in the group chat, like, when we made that group chat, we were literally just trolling him. And, like, he just took it too damn far. Like, he started, like, personally, like, DMing me. And, like, saying
he fell for it again.
Fly me out, and he's gonna, like, nut in me and shit.
So on here it says, "Don't let anyone ever tell you you aren't beautiful, not even me. You deserve the best. Trust me, if I was in Louisiana, it'd be a beat down your door, smothering you with flowers and hugs. You just better prepare yourself because I'm showering you on the entire world."
That's the corniest shit ever.
This is part of a larger interview from this YouTube channel, Master at Work, and I'll be honest, I've finished watching it, but I'm still a little confused on the specifics of exactly what happened here. The best I can piece together is the girl in the interview was trolling EDP. They had like a group chat together, and while she was underage, was talking to EDP, but then she turned of age, she turned 18, and then EDP got more sexual with their conversations or something like that. I'm not entirely sure on the exact timeline of everything that happened or anything, but overall, it still seems like a very weird situation, at the very least. Assuming, of course, it's all true. There's not 100% irrefutable evidence at the moment here, and I'm sure EDP will latch onto that, claiming that it's all just fake haters trying to bring him down. Because even to this day, he doesn't really acknowledge what happened and what cost him his career. Though on TikTok, he did make a video taking a slow bite of a cupcake, which is the closest he's come to talking about it, and it's really weird that he still leans in to the pedophile stuff. Like, he knows the cupcake is associated with him trying to go to the physical location where he was talking about having sex with someone he believed was a kid, and yet he will openly eat a cupcake, thus tipping his hat to it. He's trying, like, for this level of self-awareness, like, yeah, you guys all know about the pedophile past, so here's that. And now let's talk about the Eagles. It's just so fucking weird. But yeah, I really didn't want to mention EDP again going forward since it's such a normal thing that happens now, like a little natural disaster that blows through with EDP making an account and trying to get popular again somewhere. And somehow it usually works out for him for a brief moment of time where he'll get a lot of followers in a short amount of time, like he has on TikTok. The guy's like a tardigrade, or as you might know it, a water bear, which is like this tiny little micro animal that can survive pretty much everywhere. In a volcano, in space even. Like, somehow EDP always just comes back and tries to find some place to live on the internet no matter how hard the internet tries to push him away. The tenacity is unreal. But yeah, the reason I was talking about it today is because of the accusations that now came out against him, which isn't a surprising thing if all of those accusations are proven true, given his history and his repeated pattern of inappropriately talking to children. The fact that he is now huge on TikTok, which is a platform that is predominantly a child audience, it isn't surprising that he would once again go back to that pattern of behavior that he's demonstrated while he was on YouTube. So yeah, that's the EDP annual update, and that's about it. See ya. I have sworn multiple times that I would stop talking about EDP445, but just like most people's New Year's resolutions about going to the gym, I'm going to have to break it. Every few months for the last couple of years, like clockwork, he will try and come back to the internet after his historic fall from grace after being caught in the now infamous cupcake sting operation that outed him as a predator. He'll come back with an almost cartoonish development. He has been on this non-stop wild and wacky roller coaster of crazy, goofy shit that he tries. He's this gift that just keeps on giving with the amount of unbelievable shit he tries. Like an everlasting gobstopper of goofs. I've compared him to the box ghost from Danny Phantom, and I think that is just the most apt comparison. He's just this silly villain that keeps popping up every now and then just for people to laugh him off the face of the internet, but he'll always come back as a cameo in later episodes. And that's why we're talking about him again today, because it's that time of the year where EDP tries to make a claim that he's innocent. And this time, he's saying, actually, it was all acting. He was only pretending to be a pedophile. He was method acting as a child molester, as part of a movie production. I know that sounds unbelievable. That sounds like I just made that shit up in a game of Mad Libs, but I'm being serious. That is the angle he's trying. He posted an entire breakdown of his defense that this was all a setup, that it was supposed to just be improv acting, but they published it as a real thing and it cost him his whole career. Now, before diving into the fanfic that EDP tries to craft here like he's working on a fucking Tumblr blog, I do want to make it clear that even though the Cupcake Doomsday sting operation was the apocalypse that brought down the world of EDP, it's far from the only instance of him talking inappropriately and sexually with minors. This was just the only one where they actually caught him in video. You know, this was no longer just blurry photos of Sasquatch or rumors. They finally had him on video, flirting with, and then even going to a physical location to meet someone he believed to be a child. This followed sexually charged conversations as well as inappropriate pictures, including a picture of his poopy in a toilet, an actual shit pic. I make sure to mention that anytime EDP's name comes up because god damn it, that shit is crazy. And following all that, he went to the physical location to meet someone he believed to be a kid, and said the reason he was there was actually because his belly was empty, his tummy was growling for a cupcake, which is why it became known as the Cupcake Incident. But this is just focusing on that video and not any of the other numerous claims and evidence about the way he talked to children and all of that. So let's take it from the top here in the timeline of events. He lays out all the lore, and it dates all the way back to 2019. So he's laying out the goddamn Silmarillion here, preceding the Lord of the Rings events that take place later on. So in 2019, he flew out to Philadelphia for the world premiere of Maybe Next Year, which he was featured in. I suppose this was his acting debut, and that's crucial knowledge here because fast forward to 2021, he received an email from Chet Goldstein, who was the person conducting the investigation on EDP at the time, and he's claiming that in 2021, Chet Goldstein reached out to him, letting him know how impressed he was with EDP's performance in that documentary, saying that he was impressed with his work from Maybe Next Year and wanted to give him a shot for a different part in a film that Chet Goldstein was working on at the time. So he drops a receipt here of an email that basically just echoes that, saying, hey, you know, your work was fucking amazing. Can't believe you didn't win an Oscar. Would love to have you as part of this next production if you're willing to try out for it. Get back to me. EDP responds, ecstatic to take this role. This was really going to blow up his acting career. He confirms an address with him, that it's a Rite Aid location they're meeting at. Chet Goldstein says that, their cameraman will meet them at the Rite Aid parking lot, and it's going to be a random scene that they're going to act out for 30 to 40 minutes to see if he's fit for filming. He says, the scene we may ask you to act out may seem a bit odd, and I may crack some jokes and be rude in certain parts of the shoot that may seem offensive to you, but keep in mind, we have a protocol of situations we may throw at you to see how you respond and act in helping us determine if you're fit for the part. If selected for the part for the film we're shooting in Bakersville in October, we'll reach out in 7 to 14 business days from our meeting. Please message me back to confirm this date. So this is his bombshell, shocking revelation plot twist moment where you see Chet Goldstein actually was just wanting me to act, improv to make sure I was, up to snuff here with the role that I'd be required to play for his production. I was under the impression this was all part of the acting, which even upon hearing this excuse is one of the most unbelievable things I've ever heard. No, you remember that incident from 2 years ago. Keep in mind, he's just now posting this 2 years later. I'm guessing this idea came to him in a dream recently to try this garbage. But why wait 2 years if this is all legitimate? But regardless, all of that pedophile shit, no, that's just because I was a very good actor. I actually fooled all of you. It was acting, but I'm really upset because, I was misled. I was instructed to improv. I had no idea this was going to be the result. But I know what you're thinking, Charles, He posted receipts. He posted emails right there. There's proof. There's evidence to support these outrageous claims. Sometimes reality can be stranger than fiction. And to that I say, I do not like those green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. These are fucking poorly photoshopped emails that he posts. He couldn't even Photoshop or crop it correctly. Look at Chet Goldstein's name. You can still see some of like the black flakes at the top where Chet Goldstein was pasted on top of whatever this email originally was, and none of it's even centered in the first place. It doesn't even convincingly look like real emails. It is awful. It is terribly done. And to go even a step further, I can literally hear EDP's voice in the Chet Goldstein text here. He caps locked respond and act, as if that's supposed to drive the point home, like, no, look, it's real. This is super real because respond and act. Act. That's a key word. I'm going to have to capitalize that one so that way people know that this is key. It's blatantly fake. These aren't real emails. But you know what? I'm always willing to play ball and suspend disbelief. Let's assume that this is real somehow. And the odds of this being even remotely real are beyond minuscule, incalculably low odds, but let's assume they are. It still doesn't explain away all of his other repeated behavior with the way he talks to minors or anything like that, and it doesn't even explain away the video itself. There's nothing in there that even like gets corroborated with these emails he releases. Nothing checks out, even still, with the video itself and the claims he's making. He did an interview with like an AI, I guess. I don't really know, but he's doing this interview with like some kind of AI interviewer using some kind of like fucking voice modulator. And the way he explains it is even more silly.
He had his business card attached to the email.
Okay, and that was shortly after the movie, maybe next year or so. You put kind of 2 and 2 together and everything aligned to this actually being an opportunity for you.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so Chet emails you and tells you to meet him at the apartment complex? I'm sorry, maybe I'm not understanding.
Well, again, you know, the original meetup spot was at the Rite Aid.
In what fucking solar system would someone be so stupid as to get a random email from someone claiming to be a movie producer who just reached out to you with a cold call saying, hey, your fucking performance in this documentary was superb, spectacular stuff. Come meet me at a Rite Aid where I'm going to have you play a child predator. Would you think that that's a good opportunity? So let's assume he didn't know he was going to be acting as a pedophile. The second that they start spitballing this improv at him, like, okay, so all of these chat logs with this child, you're a pedophile. Why would he play along with it? What opportunity did you think this was? How would portraying a child molester be like this golden goose for you? You are already a successful YouTuber with millions of subscribers, but this was your ticket to the big time? You know, this role you thought you were playing, like the role of method acting a fucking pedophile? That makes no sense. That is inexplicably ridiculous.
You know what I mean? And then the camera guy, Javier, he actually walked me over to the apartment complex. So in the fucking email, it was just, you know, boom, right here at the Rite Aid. And then camera guy is the one who walked me over to the apartment complex. This is the first time I ever seen this fucking apartment complex. You know what I mean?
This does absolutely nothing to help proclaim his innocence here. If it was at the Rite Aid or the apartment complex, it doesn't fucking change anything. The clips he's showing, the Rite Aid only comes in the frame when EDP is leaving after they're talking about calling the cops and everything. That is when he is actually, like, making his grand getaway from this situation. He starts by going up to the apartment complex and then leaves going out by the Rite Aid.
Do you have any indication on what you're walking into, what type of scene you're going to be acting out?
He didn't tell me shit, basically. You know what I mean? He basically just said, hey, we got some chat logs here. We're going to improv this bitch. Go along with it. I'm just like, all right, cool. So... And then again, you know what I mean? It's like, how the fuck was I supposed to know this was a goddamn, you know, how the fuck was I supposed to know that this was a goddamn setup? Like, it's like, you know, you have fucking business cards, you have the official wavelength bullshit, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers is emailing you and shit. It's like, anybody in their right fucking mind would have thought that this was legit.
I speak for every single living, breathing human being on this planet in saying that nobody in their right mind would have thought this is legit. At all. I will suspend disbelief yet again here to just toy around with this idea. Why the fuck would you even improv this kind of scene? Did you want the role of a pedophile? Did you want that to be your acting legacy? The follow-up to your magnum opus performance in maybe next year you wanted to be the child predator? What sense does that fucking make? This is the dumbest defense ever. And he doesn't even do anything to, like, somehow explain away everything he says and does in the video itself. None of this explains any of it. And this fucking email screenshots are fake emails to begin with. The whole thing is so stupid. But it is laughable that he is actually trying this with a straight face. Obviously, this is yet again another desperate attempt to prove that he's never been a child predator, even though there is overwhelming amounts of evidence, even outside of this big video that came from it. There is still so much evidence against him, and really the only reason he never faced jail time is because the investigation was done by YouTubers and not done in collaboration with law enforcement, so he was able to squeak away based on that, which is something that has happened a lot, unfortunately. So it's crazy he's not even in jail, honestly. And he still keeps trying to come back to the internet. Even after all of this time and all of this shit, he still keeps doing ridiculously goofy shit like what you just saw there, with trying to say he's not a pedophile, he was only acting. Wild stuff. I just wanted to give a little update here and share that. That's about it. See ya. EDP445 has issued an apology for the cupcake incident from 2 years ago. Not exactly the quickest response time, but it's a little bit faster than Valve responding to Team Fortress 2 issues. So I probably don't even need to give you the lore dump here. The story of EDP445's fall from grace is a more well-known story than Little Red Riding Hood by this point. But just in case, 2 years ago, he was caught in a child predator sting operation, which also unearthed a lot of other repeated instances of him being inappropriate with minors in his community. For this, he lost his entire career, and since then he has desperately been trying to claw his way back to the internet because it's all he knows. It's his only home, so he pathetically comes back like every couple of months for the last 2 years, like clockwork, with a new pitiful attempt at reviving his internet career. There's only a few certainties in life: death, taxes, and EDP coming back when no one wants him to. He's posted videos on every platform that allows video sharing capability. I wouldn't have been surprised if he tried to make a career out of streaming on Xbox 360 Arcade Uno, where they used to let you use the Xbox fucking Connect or whatever in order to like have a webcam chat in Uno servers. Wouldn't have been surprised if he tried that. He has gone to every platform ever and has been banned from all of them. Because what EDP did is unforgivable. This is not something you can ever come back from. He should be counting his lucky stars he's not in jail. He must have had fairy godparents and they granted him one last wish, and it was to avoid jail time. The only reason he's not there is because the investigation and all of the evidence was conducted online, so authorities usually don't use that in like actual prosecution or anything. So he must have collected all the fucking Dragon Balls and made a wish, and Shinron kept him out of jail. Because the amount of proof and evidence of not only the cupcake incident, obviously, where he actually went in person to meet a child for sex, not only just that, but like a repeated history of having similar circumstances with being inappropriate with kids, all of this very well documented. The fact that all of that exists and he's not in jail is beyond a miracle for EDP. And now he is once again doing his standard song and dance, trying to get back his internet career and find redemption. He's made a couple other videos in the past addressing it loosely, like where he's like eating a cupcake, so literally leaning into being a pedophile, I guess, and acknowledging it. And then only a handful of months ago, he made a statement on his website that was perhaps one of the wildest ideas ever cooked up by a human brain. He said that the whole cupcake incident, that whole scenario, was actually all acting. He was hired for an acting job to play a pedophile, and he committed to the role, and he had no idea it was going to be used as like a legitimate thing. He thought it was all just a Shakespearean play, basically, just part of, you know, the acting craft. But this is the first video he's made where he's apologizing and talking about it, like actually talking about it. And I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, wow, finally, he's taking accountability. He's starting to, you know, grow now, and you know, maybe he can move on from this. What a bunch of hooey. That is a load of fish paste. He doesn't, in his entire 8.5-minute apology video, he doesn't once refer to what actually happened. When he's talking about being caught in a child predator sting operation, he calls it that YouTube shit.
I want to take full responsibility for my actions that happened on April 21st, 2021. The entire YouTube shit that went down, the entire YouTube incident, you know what I mean, that went the fuck down. I'm not even going to get into it. You guys already know what the fuck happened. I'm taking full responsibility, full accountability for my actions.
He doesn't even say what he did and what he like is guilty of. He just loosely refers to it vaguely and brushes it off quickly. That is the opposite of taking accountability. He doesn't even fucking address it directly. Now, he states one of the reasons for the tardiness behind this apology is because he's been in talks with lawyers over the last couple of years about what he can and cannot say. And I'm just going to slap down the Phoenix Wright objection. I'm calling baloney, because if he did have a team of lawyers behind him after all these years, I'm assuming they would have advised him to not make any of the statements he's made over the last couple of years. Especially the one where he faked emails to try and confirm that all of this was actually just an acting moment. It was all just a ruse. It was supposed to be a movie, not real. It's all fake. Or the other statement he made about how it never happened in the first place and just outright denying it. I feel like if there were lawyers behind him for the last couple of years, they would have told him, do not do that. But let's play ball with that idea for a second. Let's assume he's being truthful. If the lawyers have told him to not mention any of the specifics of the incident, then you can't come on this video and pretend like you're taking accountability or responsibility. If you're not willing to actually tackle what happened and what you are guilty of and actually talk about it directly, then you can't pretend that you're somehow taking accountability or responsibility in the situation. I didn't want to talk about this apology video because I don't think there's any value here. I've already made a few videos talking about EDP over the last 2 years with every attempt he's made to try and come back to the internet. And this is just another one of those, a desperate Hail Mary to try and monetize an internet career again because it is all he has. It is the only home that he knows. So he keeps trying. But this is just not something that you can come back from.
Taking the proper measures and the proper steps forward to seek out help, to try to, you know, get my head on right and to make sure that, you know, in the distant future that I do not hurt, you know what I mean, my loving, caring, supporting friends and family, because they're the ones that hurt the most. They are the ones that suffered the most.
No, they're not. The actual victims are. What do you mean? Yes, of course, they did get caught in the crossfire here from everything you did online, but you should really be apologizing far more to the actual victims. Not just the cupcake incident, but the actual children that you've been inappropriate with over all the years. He mentions that he's getting help to try and, like, not be a danger to children anymore, which is good, taking those steps, but even if they do cure the pedophile, it doesn't mean that you can come back as some kind of content creator again. You cannot have an internet career again after what you've done. Period. Full stop. There is no coming back from that. I do find it very upsetting that when he does make these attempts at comebacks, he does usually find an audience of delusional weirdos that downplay the severity of what he's done in his past, talking about how, like, pedophilia is not even a big deal and there wasn't any real victims, which is categorically false. He may not have actually met a child during the cupcake incident. It was all a sting operation, but there were very real victims to EDP that most people seem to forget. Actual children he was being inappropriate with. There are victims. Like, it's not just that one time with the sting operation, the fucking Chris Hansen have a seat to catch a predator moment for EDP. There was many more. It's just not something you move on from. Now, he does mention at the very beginning of the video that he's come close to, like, hurting himself and ending it all over the last couple of years as a result of everything that happened with this whole situation. And he mentions that he's extremely remorseful for all of it and recognizes that it's all his fault. And he also mentions that his family has been harassed a lot from all of this. And overall, yeah, it's sad to hear that, but again, it is all your fault. You can't come back to the internet after all of this. You are a danger to children. You preyed on kids in your audience. You can't come back online from that. You should have been in jail, but got extremely lucky to avoid that. So you should have been satisfied with just being able to stay out of jail and completely cut ties with the internet. Buckle down in the real world and just do something else and never come back online. Now, I understand over the last 2 years he has tried getting other jobs, but some people have recognized him and felt unsafe because, shocker, child predators are a danger in society. So he did lose his job, his other couple of jobs he's had over the last couple of years, but that doesn't mean you just quit and then just go back to the internet to try and monetize there for your career. You cannot come back from what you did online, period. So you should have just kept trying to find a job that you can hold down where people aren't going to recognize and harass you, and just stay pursuing that. He also does mention that the reason he's making the apology is because he wants to eventually have redemption online, which I think what he's done is irredeemable. I really do. I feel like most people probably do as well. It's an unforgivable act, but he keeps trying. And I don't even think this apology is genuine. This feels once again like another plan of his to try and crawl back online, because he has done it so many times before. This is not really taking accountability or responsibility. He keeps saying that it is, but he can't even address the actual issue itself. And like, not only the cupcake incident, he doesn't even mention the other victims outside of that either. So he doesn't actually even take any accountability or anything like that. So I don't even think it's coming from a place of like genuine remorse or anything. It really seems like it's coming from a place of desperation to find a career again online. So yeah, that's about it. So yep. What? You looking at the purple stains on my shirt, huh, tough guy? You think I need some kind of bib from now on because I'm a messy eater that can't be trusted to not spill food on himself? Well, okay, Haas Delgado. Sometimes accidents happen, and I could have easily changed my shirt before recording this video, and you would have been none the wiser. You'd have no idea. But a real man's not afraid to own up to his mistakes. I'm not hiding away from it. So the stained shirt stays on. If you can't handle me at my dirtiest, you don't deserve me at my cleanest. But anyway, what we're here to talk about today is something everyone knew was coming because it's that time of the year. EDP getting caught again talking to minors and trying to be sexual with children. Who could have seen this coming, besides every single human being in the world with a pulse? The only two certainties in this world are death and EDP looking for cupcakes. Yesterday, it was revealed that he had once again been talking sexually with a minor. Now, I do need to say that this is all currently still just alleged claims here, though there is substantial evidence to suggest that it could be legitimate. I'm inclined to believe what's being presented here because it seems like it's been done thoroughly and through proper channels instead of just being like a YouTuber done investigation for clout. This really does seem like this could lead to real justice being served to EDP, who eluded justice over the last couple of years because of the previous investigation not being done through proper channels. So everything that's going on currently does seem to be legitimate, but it is important to say that they are all currently still allegations that he's been talking inappropriately with an underage girl. Apparently, he also sent nudes of himself to this minor. And I don't know if he sent any pictures of his poop in a toilet bowl this time around, which is his signature anime finishing move. Last time, a couple years ago, when he was caught sexting someone he believed to be a child, he sent a picture of his shit in the toilet. And this time around, in season 20 of EDP being a disgusting child predator, we don't have any hard evidence to confirm nor deny the existence of shit pics in his exchange with this child. So I'm sure as the investigation continues, more information will come to light and we'll know for sure. Now, the victim in this situation has come forward publicly, and there are a lot of chat logs that have released from it. I don't know if it's every single exchange they've ever had, or if there's still more. If it is every single exchange they've had, it doesn't seem like there's any shit pics, but, you know, you can never be too sure when it comes to EDP's sexting. He really likes to send pictures of his poopy. So what happened? Yesterday, a very big YouTuber named JiDion released a set of pictures as well as a short clip that had him dressed in a cupcake costume while confronting EDP with somebody else there as well. EDP is very upset about it. I'll go ahead and play you the clip.
It's not a fucking joke, man.
I'm just seldom at a loss for words. You know, 2 years ago you were caught
Kiss my ass.
in 4K trying to meet a 13-year-old.
Really?
I'm not talking to you. He's talking to
Really,
you.
my nigga, this is bullshit, man, that y'all pulling right now?
When I initially saw this, I thought there was a small chance that this could all just be some kind of prank video that was being staged here. But then I started to think rationally, and I came to the conclusion, what kind of fucking deranged individual would willingly lean into being a pedophile? Now, I know EDP has tried many bold tactics to squeak out of everything that's happened over the last 2 years. One of the most outrageous, outlandish claims I've ever heard is that all of it was just method acting for a role that he was playing. And I did think for a second this could be another example of that, but you'd have to be unhinged to like the highest level, like literally Arkham Asylum insane, to do something like this as a joke. Not only on EDP's part, but on JiDion's part, as well as the other YouTuber there. His name is SkeeterGene. This would be diabolical to fake something like this. Skeeter is a self-proclaimed Chris Hansen impersonator who is a vigilante predator hunter. Now, I'm sure most of you are a little concerned hearing that because in the past you may know that vigilante predator hunters usually stand in the way of getting justice for the predators they catch. Authorities can't often use the information or investigation that the vigilante predator hunters accumulated. It just gets thrown out, which leads to the pedophiles facing no consequence. They don't get arrested. It's why EDP isn't in jail right now, because the last time he was caught, it was all conducted by YouTubers and authorities wiped their ass with the entire case. But with SkeeterGene Hansen, from everything I've seen on his channel, and keep in mind, I'm only just now being made aware of him, so I haven't seen everything he's ever done, but from the bits that I've seen, he actually does collaboratively work with law enforcement and has actually conducted investigations that led to arrests for some of the predators that he was investigating. So it seems like he's actually doing this the proper way, with the proper authorities, through the right channels, and getting justice. So I'm optimistic that this was all done the right way. An important thing to note is that the picture of JiDion and Skeeter confronting EDP directly, as well as the clips that are surfacing from it, are not part of a sting operation. They didn't lead some kind of, false narrative or anything, or try and bait EDP to meet them somewhere under the guise of meeting up with a child or anything like last time. They didn't try and catch him in Operation Cupcake Crusader 2.0. They just knew where he was going and wanted to confront him directly for the way he was conducting himself with another child with the sexual messages they were allegedly exchanging. So JiDion went there dressed as a cupcake, obviously making fun of him. Skeeter went there with chat logs and bringing those to him directly, and they weren't like entrapping him or anything. That piece, that clip and the pictures was just a piece of making fun of him to his face and confronting him. So they apparently are actually building up a real case with law enforcement against him. So everything in person that they did is totally separate from that, I believe. JiDion actually came on my stream last night when I was going over this situation to further explain it. So I'm going to let him lay down exactly what happened.
With this case, he actually talked to a 15-year-old girl.
Like a real one, not like a decoy?
No, like a real legit, like 15-year-old girl.
Yeah, that's not super shocking. A lot of people don't remember this, but he had a history of communicating inappropriately with minors way before that sting operation. So if that's true, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
When we did this, we actually did this like a month ago. So I've been sitting on this for like a month and a half. But I was fully expected to like hold on to this for a year and then drop it. The only reason I dropped it today was because the victim, she went public with everything, and it kind of like threw me off because I was like, oh fuck, like I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But when I talked to her after she did it, she was like, yeah, the cop said it's all good and stuff. So I was just like, oh, okay. So I dropped it too, but I'm most likely probably gonna be going to court with her because
what? Wait, what?
Yeah, so like I'm kind of like involved with the case now. Like the authorities, like they have my number and everything. They haven't contacted me yet.
Okay, so was this like a investigation you conducted with like a team? Did you work collaboratively with the police? Like what exactly is all of it?
I tried to do an interview with him back in early July, but he phase drugged me and he was like, oh, you gotta pay me. When we talked, he wasn't talking about paying and stuff. So I was like, bro, I'm not about to pay a fucking pedo. And so he left, but he joined my Discord. And the girl was in my Discord. And that's how he found her. And he messaged her because she had all of her social media in her Discord stuff.
this all sounds. Did you ever like contact authorities about it? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, so the thing about it is like I can't do it. Like she did it. So what she did was she contacted my mods, and my mods told me, and then I hopped on a call with her. And the first thing I did was I was like, let me talk to your mom. So I talked to her mom. Her mom was aware of everything. And so once I got situated, she sent me everything. And then I gave it over to Skeet because, you know, he's a professional with this.
Mm-hmm. The girl he was talking to, was she doing this to try and catch him, or was she?
So he hit her up. So he
Okay.
hit her first. So that's the thing. Like, if she would have hit him up first, I don't know the legality of it. Either way, like he said, dick pics her, so he's fucked in that case. I'm not gonna lie, we caught him lacking at the dialysis center. You know, don't ask me how. I knew he was gonna be there, but you know, we caught him lacking.
So that clip that you showed, that's not him going somewhere to try and meet that girl?
No.
Okay.
No.
I would just hope that justice would finally be served, because he's skirted away from that for a while.
And that's the thing that I wanted to do with this. Like, that's why I was so willing to wait like a year, because I was afraid that it would have messed up the investigation.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is actually getting justice as opposed to like the content of it. So hopefully this leads to a legitimate case against him, because he is not safe to be around children in any way, shape, or form. So that's pretty much all that's known about what is going on at the moment. It sounds like this wasn't a planned sting operation. This was EDP doing what he does best, talking inappropriately with children, and the victim alerted JiDion, who alerted Skeeter Gene Hansen, who alerted authorities, and are now all Jesus, I am really struggling with that word today. That shit is really making it difficult for me. I'm fumbling it. Collaboratively with law enforcement to build a case against him and hopefully pursue real justice for someone that is, for too long now, been allowed to continue preying on children. So after hearing kind of the general outline of everything, I'm optimistic that A, it's all done properly, B, it's all real, that this isn't some big ruse, some kind of giant joke. Again, I think that would be extraordinarily evil and ridiculous if this does all turn out to be fake, which I don't think it is. And 3, the most important, that this entire investigation leads to real justice. So EDP can no longer keep preying on the children in his audience. It's just, for too long, he has been able to continue coming back like this reoccurring villain. How many times do you have to teach you this lesson, old man type shit? I compared him to the box ghost. Just this fucking cartoonish villain that keeps coming back, keeps getting defeated, but no real consequences. So just comes back again later on, making another cameo. It's been happening for 2 years. So hopefully this will finally be the case where EDP no longer gets to do these kind of awful things. So yeah, just wanted to talk about this, and I'm going to keep my finger on the pulse of this story to see what's going on with all of it. That's about it. So yeah. What did EDP do this time? Brother, what do you think? Like, come on. Be real. Here, we'll start there. We'll start with the EDP stuff. Thanks, Jordan. So, they haven't released the footage yet, but JiDion is alluding to catching EDP in another sting, and he showed up in the cupcake costume, obviously. So it's looking like EDP is still preying on children, or at least attempting to. So this just happened, what, 6 hours ago or something like that? I can't wait for this video. Maybe this will finally be enough evidence, assuming that it really is him going here under the assumption that he's meeting a minor. Hopefully that'll finally be enough evidence for the authorities to take it seriously. Trying to become a member but cannot find it. It's a button that says join somewhere. I don't know where, to be honest with you. It's fake. There is a good chance that it is. When Jackson initially sent it to me, I said that it's probably all just a big meme. But from what everyone's posting on Twitter, it's seeming like it's not a meme. And that JiDion really did catch him again. So there's a video. I think it's in the article somewhere down here. Is it this?
It's not a fucking joke, man.
I'm just seldom at a loss for words. You know, 2 years ago you were caught
Kiss my ass.
in 4K trying to meet a 13-year-old. And
Really?
I'm not talking to you. He's talking to
Really,
you.
my nigga, this is bullshit, man, that y'all pulling right now?
Yeah, so that would be a weird meme. That seems pretty real. There's not a lot of people that would willingly do that. Especially given his history. Welcome aboard, Rozu. Appreciate it, Jordan. And yeah, I saw. And no, I don't know what that is, strategist. Welcome aboard, sister. Yeah, the full video hasn't dropped or anything. He's got that snippet. But it definitely doesn't seem staged. You'd have to be a real fucking idiot to agree to once again be portrayed as a pedophile. I'm using portrayed super lightly because the guy is a pedophile. Like, the evidence is overwhelming. So I don't think it's a joke. Holy shit. Oh my god. Well, that was super sweet. Appreciate that, XRC. Thanks for the long time of watching. God damn. What a fucking fat drop. Thank you for that. And I hope you're doing well. Just got out of JiDion's stream. There's already a court date, and he's on an FBI watch list for other reasons, gun-related. Wait, what? That has to be brand new, then. He did say it on a live stream. Welcome aboard, Husk. Apparently Punk tried to run up on Tony after squaring up with Jack Perry, so TK had to get rid of him. Yeah, we can talk about the Punk stuff in just a little bit. I kept up with most of it. Yeah, I saw. Jesus. Welcome aboard, Caleb and Jose. No, not too much, Jason. Just started. Do you think EDP could ever be rehabilitated? This is like his fucking 4th time. No, man. He's a predator. He can't be saved. Like, people forget, the cupcake incident wasn't his first time doing that either. It was just his first time getting caught with enough evidence that everyone saw it. And then he did it again, like, a year ago. Probably not even a year ago. And now this. Welcome aboard, Chad. And Chick. I like sports. Basketball is my favorite one. True, Salmon. That was wholesome. Thanks, Juice. Yeah, we're going to talk about Vince Vintage and all of that as well. Like I said, there is a lot that's gone on over the last 24 hours. We'll get to all of it. Welcome aboard, Zach. Appreciate it, Zeph. What's your basketball team? You talking about for the $1 million tournament? We haven't formed the team yet because it's not time. Welcome aboard, Keith. And hey, Hyperion. The video's not out yet. We don't know exactly everything that went on here, but from the clip that's posted and what he's wearing and EDP's reaction, it seems pretty not good for EDP. It seems like another case of preying on minors. Welcome aboard, Lincoln. That was wholesome. Thanks, Laikumi. He said the video's going to come out sometime this month. Well, I'll be waiting. So that's the EDP update. Welcome aboard, Ark. And Stiegel. Appreciate it, user. Hi, Rocky. I heard about the Mr. Beast stuff. I saw all of it unfold in real time last night. Yeah. There were two different Mr. Beast things. That was a rough evening for Mr. Beast on Twitter last night. Shit was getting crazy. How is this man not in jail? Because the investigations were conducted by YouTubers, not working in collaboration with law enforcement, so they don't take him seriously and they get off on technicality. Or, sorry, they don't... It's not like he got off on technicality. They just didn't pursue it because the investigation was done by a less than professional team. Which is why To Catch a Predator always worked with law enforcement. Thanks for the gifted member, Mikey, and welcome Madison, Snow, and Panda.